some new songs. And
what's the motivation for all the new songs? Were they already there? Were there kind of ideas for songs, or were there songs that you didn't include on Parachutes that you always knew you wanted to put on it?
No. We really don't like the theory of songs that don't make it on an album making it on the next album. You know,
that's almost like reversed. It should be, you know, if something's not good enough to go on the first album, then there's absolutely no chance that it's good enough to get on the second one.
Maybe if it's not finished, it'll be kept. But all the songs from this new record were written after Parachutes. You know, the first song to be written was written right at the end of the sessions for Parachutes. Too late to get on to Parachutes. And
was that In My Place?
Yeah, that was In My Place. And then we went in the studio in October last year with about 15 or 20 new songs, and from somewhere magic, lots of other songs arrived while we were in the studio that we really weren't expecting. And some of them made it on as well, so that there are lots of B-sides and stuff now because we didn't put all those songs on the record.
But did you get to the studio and you sit down and you thought, shite, how the hell are we going to better Parachutes? I mean, does that ever cross your mind?
Well, we were desperate to make another record, you know. We were desperate to we've been listening to lots and lots of different types of music and meeting lots of different people, and we were really desperate to get all the new ideas out, you know. That was what was the good thing about waiting for a long time to record the second album, was that we were absolutely itching to make it by the time we got in there, and we had a lot of songs and a lot of ideas and new sounds, and so we don't really think about the record before. And if we ever make another record, hopefully we'll have the same mindset, which is that, you know, we haven't done anything, we've got to prove everything on this record. That's what
Well, we're talking about the new album, A Rush of Blood to the Head. It's out on Monday. Let's play the first single from it. It's In My Place. Now, the new album to me sounds a lot starker, a lot more spacious than its predecessor. What was the blueprint for the overall sound and feel of the album? What was the sort of the end product? What did you want to make of it?
Well, I mean, we had no particular records in mind when we made this album, but we'd been listening to a lot of different stuff. You know, bands like Echo and the Bunnymen and New Order and the Joy Division,
The Cure,
yeah. And so we had a different idea about where we could kind of take songs, you know, and how they could sound. I mean, this was stuff that we'd never really listened to before, you know. Certainly not before Parachutes, anyway.
Even things like Johnny Cash, you know, and even stuff like Eminem we were into.
To be able to write songs like The Scientist and Yellow, you've got to actually have been able to have experienced things. Now, how old are you?
37.
No. How
25.
old? Oh, so you're a year older than I am.
Right.
Okay. Now,
24.
Yeah. So I haven't, I've done bits and pieces, but I couldn't write a bloody album about it. If I did, it'd be very dull.
You don't know that. That's the thing.
You don't know.
The only kind of criteria that a good songwriter should have is that they talk about stuff that they know about. You know what I mean? Whether it is, you know, whether it doesn't have, you don't have to experience that much. As long as you experience what, you know, as long as you talk about what you know about, that's the only way to be honest. You know what I mean? We couldn't sing about life in the ghetto. Do you know what I mean?
No. And I'm very, you know, I get a lot of attention, but I truly believe that I'm in the best band in the world. And whilst I'm very blessed because we get sent songs, you know, from somewhere magic, I don't know. It only starts with me, you know, and if without the rest of Coldplay, all these songs would be awful. And that's why I'm very lucky. You know, if you had 3 other guys with you who you thought were mega, then you'd be able to do it, and that inspires you, you know. It really inspires me, the idea that if I have a little idea, I can take it to the fellas, and that's what really gets me incredibly excited.
Now, is there 11 tracks on the new album?
Yeah.
11 tracks, okay, so we've got 11 songs to choose from. We've already played one, of course, so you've got 10 other songs. Go for a song from the new album that we can play. What should we play first?
Are we like to hear, well, of course we're not going to listen to it ourselves, but we'd like you to hear a song called Politic, which is the first track on the album.
The opening track.
Now, tell us a little bit about this song. It was written, I think, 13th of September 2001, so there's obviously, you know, you're going to be asked this question. No, thank you, I've been working very hard. Listen, you can never bloody tell, could you really? It was written on the 13th of September, so obviously people are going to ask you this. Get ready for this question.
I know what you're going to ask. And of course it's slightly affected by September the 11th. I mean, like Will says, songs come out of the way you're feeling at that time, or they just arrive, you know. We don't really know where they come from. And on 13th of September I was feeling a bit angry and upset just because of the state of the world, you know. And so this song just came out, and it also came out of the idea of wanting to have a song where we all just bashed our instruments really hard with no fragility or niceness at all, you know.
Track 1 from Coldplay's new album. This is Politic. Now, let's get back to the album. The actual recording of A Rush of Blood to the Head was a fairly fragmented affair because it started off in London and then it moved to Liverpool. Why was there kind of that fragmentation?
We kind of got a bit stale in London, really. We had a break to do a tour in America, and we came back off the tour, and we kind of listened to all the stuff we'd recorded in London, and were quite disappointed with a lot of it. I mean, some of it was okay, but a lot of it was pretty lackluster, really. And so we really needed to get out of London, where there's no distractions and where we could just focus on recording, you know. Because we all live in London, you know, so we hanging out with our friends, so we needed to get away and just concentrate on recording and writing.
And yeah, just being 4 people in a room rather than, you know, award-winning band, you know what I mean? Because that sort of stuff just makes you a knobhead. So, and then we went to, and Ken, our producer, he's a Scouser, and we really love it there. We really love it there. And there's this little studio we work in Parr Street Studios, Studio 3, and that room for us is magical.
I want to play another track that you guys have picked as we continue Virgin Superstar, so let's go for something else, because you got a few.
Echo and the Bunnymen, Lips Like Sugar.
Now, for fairly obvious reasons, is this because of your sort of working relationship with Ian?
Well, mainly because they're great, I think.
We actually really like Echo and the Bunnymen.
And which song was it?
Lips Like Sugar.
Lips Like Sugar. Okay, let's get it on. It's a Coldplay special. I've never really asked a band before this, but do you have a strong sense of duty to your fans?
Absolutely. You know, one of the main motivators behind everything we do is not only the fact that we love what we do, but also the idea that someone might pay money to buy a record or to come see us live and then be disappointed is abhorrent. You know, I would hate the idea that someone bought Parachutes and then buys our new one and is disappointed. You know, that's why we really wanted to kick ourselves up the arse and make it as brilliant as we possibly could. Even, you know, I'm sure lots of people won't like it, but we really hate the idea of taking people that like us for granted.
Do you listen to the radio a lot in London? Do you listen to, and when you hear a Coldplay song, do you turn off because you can't hear it again, or you just turn off? Why do you turn off? Purely because you're maybe bored of the song, or?
No, it's not so much that. It's just that you listen to it and you think,
could be better.
Yeah, I wish that guitar was better.
Yeah.
And that's the main reason why you can't listen to your songs, because you think, I could have done better that time.
I was watching Big Brother's Little Brother. I don't know why, but I was. And at the end of it, the whole series, they had a montage and they used our song In My Place, you know. And I just had to switch over.
What particular tracks on the album, other than the ones we played, do you have a real affinity for? What ones can you really look forward to playing?
I like looking forward to all of them, really, because if there's a chance that, you know, there's always going to be someone in the audience of a live gig of ours that hasn't seen us before. So, you know, if they go away thinking they look like they're really enjoying that, then that's great. If they go away thinking, you know, didn't seem like they're into that, so, you know, we feel bound to, you know, to make sure we try and put everything into every song. So there are some songs which, you know, which are kind of live favourites, like Daylight for me, because it's got an exciting bit of drumming and, you know, what have you. But at the end of the day, they're all written by us, and we love playing them all live. So
some of them get dropped when they don't work. It's interesting because maybe that's why we don't listen to them on record, because we still really get a buzz off. Even playing songs like Yellow and Trouble live is still really cool.
Can I play a track from the album, because you've been choosing some. I want to play with Scientist, and I want to hear it now because I think it's just a beautiful song. It's The Scientist from Coldplay's album A Rush of Blood to the Head.